Hi, Jarrett Loud, the founder of Green Ocean Property Management. In this week's Property Management Pulse, I'm going to be covering what I'm seeing other landlords do in the market in order to help get their units rented for 9/1. With only 2 weeks left and with thousands of units still left on the market, landlords are getting desperate. You're seeing landlords slash their rent prices from hundreds of dollars per month from what they previously received in order to just make sure that their unit gets notified. But the problem is with every single landlord doing this, you're competing in a market where, again, everybody's just lowering it. So what else can you do? These other landlords, in addition to just slashing prices, are actually offering 3 months worth of rent, whether it's 1 month or 2 months worth. All of these type of changes that they're making are costing them thousands of dollars. And again, this is not to deter anybody from self-managing. Thousands of people do it. But when you have a property management company that starts as early as us, that gets units on the market 9 months in advance, many times these type of things can be avoided. So in addition to slashing prices, as well as offering 3 months rent, you're obviously seeing a lot of landlords willing to work with brokers again, as well as paying those broker fees. And then some of them are renting out by the room, which again, it can be very difficult and tough to manage, especially considering so many different people and personalities living within your unit. And when they do that, they also will have to pay the utilities, because it can sometimes be very difficult for tenants who don't know each other to actually work together to pay and separate bills. So one of the things that we at Green Ocean Property Management are doing to be able to not have the landlord lose money through rent deductions or offering free rent, and that might work in some cases, is actually lowering move-in costs. And that is huge, because in the city of Boston previously, tenants were used to paying first month's rent, last month's rent, a security deposit. That's up to 3 months rent plus a realtor fee. So sometimes equivalent to 4 months rent. If your rent's $3,000, that's $12,000. So imagine a scenario in which you didn't have to pay anything at all upon move-in. Now, how would we make that happen? So we thought through this entire process. The first month's rent can actually be paid right before they move in, right? So if it's September 1st, we might be able to collect that a week in advance. Just know that we have a little bit of time to clear it and to be able to obviously make sure that all the funds are good. But that means that they wouldn't have to pay it up in advance just as they approach. Second thing is last month's rent. You know, it's nice to have that security blanket, but this is something that they can pay in August, or if at the very least you can make a little bit of a payment plan, but not necessary, because it's not funds that we need right now. Now, the biggest thing that is really tough on landlords as well as tenants is a security deposit. In the state of Massachusetts, honestly, the number one thing that most landlords get sued for is mishandling of security deposits, whether they didn't put them in a separate interest-bearing account, if they didn't actually make deductions properly and provide receipts as well as proof of the actual damages, they're withholding it for some whatever reason, or they don't pay it back within the 30 days that are needed in order to do that in Massachusetts, they can be liable for 3 times as much. They call it treble damages. And it's a nightmare when you get into this, and it's honestly something that tenants, as soon as they call an attorney, will really get you into some hot water. In addition, because it's equivalent to a month's rent, a lot of tenants are gonna have a struggle coming up with that, having it being held, and they can't actually use that money. So at Green Ocean Property Management, we said, okay, there's gotta be something out there that we can do to change this. So we actually created a process in which we pre-authorize both their bank account as well as a credit card for 1/3 of that money. And what that means, just like a hotel, when you booked a hotel, they're not taking that money from you. All they do is make sure that there's money on the credit card that's room and space should they need to charge it. And so we're able to do this. We're gonna be able to ask them for both obviously their credit and everything else to make sure that they're applicable for the program to begin with. But if they are qualified, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look into their bank account, we're gonna check their credit card that they're gonna submit in, and if their credit card, and we'll just use $3,000 for rent, for example, we're going to use $1,000 on the credit card, $1,000 on the bank account, and just check it for pre-authorization. That means that the tenant is not paying anything at all, but it still allows us to be able to know that if and when we need to take that money, only if there's deductions from the security deposit, and that could be rent, that could be, you know, damages, that it's there, right? And we're able to go after them if and when needed. But most of the time, you don't take security deposits because you're walking and checking the property, and if you have really good tenants, it's not necessary. But it makes a huge difference when it comes to the tenants, and you can say to to them, hey, you don't have to pay anything up front. All we're doing is a pre-authorization. They're so used to it when you compare it to a hotel. Just say, hey, as long as you don't damage my property, you're gonna get nothing charged ever. You'll never even see it. Again, something we're doing as a company that's very unique, that allows us to be able to stand out a little bit more from the competition, allow it easier for the tenant to rent our property. And at the end of the day, that's really what's important when there's so many properties on the market. So that is our property management pulse for the week. I hope you found value in this. And if you or anyone else you know is looking for a property manager that is innovative and finds different ways to be able to save you money and still get units rented, please reach out to Green Ocean Property Management. Love to help you out. And remember, when you hire us, you're getting more than a property manager, you're getting peace of mind.